into the right location. So another thing that you see here is classes. So you can create any kind of helper that you want. So let's actually take a look at this blog card. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, but I wanted to show you this really cool feature. So inside of this anchor tag, we have a blog post class. And then we also have this handlebar helper here, just our variable. It's called classes. So what we're doing is we're just giving an injection point for something that is called in classes. So if we hop back over here, basically if I just call that same variable equals and then quotes, now I could put any class name I want in here. So I could do light, I can do inverse if that was another class that I had created for this card. You can chain multiple classes on this. So basically these classes will now be injected into this partial right here. So it's saving you a lot of duplication because this is really one component that we're reusing over and over and over and over again. So there's some other built-in variables and helpers. So I just showed you a variable, and so there's some built-in ones. So page, layout, and root are built-in variables. So let me explain how you would use some of those. So if I was to write an image tag, would be a good use case. And I don't want to have to worry about what the file structure is, or if sometimes you've probably noticed that if you try to target it like this with absolute paths or relative paths, that you could actually have a different result when you deploy the site. So in the dist folder, they would actually be pointing in the wrong place. The root helper actually helps with this, and you can use this for pages or for assets. So you basically write roots, assets, image, /image, and then basically you're just creating your path. It's always going to look to the root folder of that directory and find the right spot every time. So that's the root helper. Another thing you see here is that we're calling the layout variable. We're choosing the default layout. Now, if you leave this out, it will automatically default to the default layout. So you don't have to specifically put it in there, but it's in there. You notice we're using this category variable. You can make a variable of any name you want. So this was a custom name we created, subcategory. So if you look on the page, and this page doesn't in particular use this stuff, but let's see one that does. So let's take a look at tutorials. So this one, you have your category, hero description. So these are all custom variables that we've created, and you can actually call these variables into other partials. So you see that hero description is being used. So if you go down to the hero partial, which will open here, hero learn. Okay, then you can see where we're calling that variable. So again, I created a reusable hero section, and then if we're injecting different text onto each page, that could be just controlled right here in the front matter with your custom variables. We're running out of time, but I want to show you some other really cool things real quick. So Another really good one are these helpers. So you can do if page, if equal, repeat, code, and then you can even wrap things in Markdown if you want to write in Markdown. So repeat is really useful, and then if page is also really useful. I'll show you some examples of those. So if I wanted to, let's say I put an image in here and it was like in a block grid and I wanted to repeat it 30 times because I'm just prototyping really fast, I can definitely do that. And you basically just need to spell it correctly. There you go. So hash, repeat, the number of times it's supposed to iterate, and then you close it afterwards. And so any kind of content can go in here and it'll just repeat it 30 times in this case. And then, another really cool thing is with the tutorial cards. Let's take a look here. So we have this partial called tutorial card, and it has a type. So the reason for that is one of these has different icons at the bottom. So type article, type video, has some different content at the bottom. So if we go find that partial, then you can see how we're using that type. So we're using the if equal helper. So hash if equal, we're defining type, and then we're defining the name of this variable. So this is going to be article and then video. So basically what this does is it works as like visibility classes. It basically shows or hides content based on this variable. So because we're calling type video here, it'll show this content. If we go back to this where we're calling it, we're just calling it here type equals quotes article or type equal quotes video. So all really cool things you could do. It saves you time of repeating code. You can create reusable components much easier that way.